Static Blade Podcast, Episode 1, Trailer Hype 2015. Alright guys, welcome to the first ever episode of the Static Blade Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Evan David, and I am joined by my two other co-hosts,
Jonathan.
And I'm Jonathan.
Oh, there's two Jonathans. All right. Well,
You really be co-host on this? That's awesome. That's a great promotion.
yeah, it's like it's an Evan sandwich here.
Does that mean I get a pay raise?
No. Sorry.
Well, double what we were giving you yesterday.
We are all going to be paid the same thing. So this is our first podcast ever, and so we're just getting the hang of it. It is a work in progress, and so if the audio is a little funky, it's always going to be improving. If the format's a little funky, it's going to be improving. But welcome, you who are listening, and we thank you.
All three of you.
Yeah, all three of you, and that would be me, Jonathan, and Jonathan, the ones who are listening. So, hi, future us. So we can't just keep calling you Jonathan and Jonathan. We gotta differentiate between you in some way. So I think we discussed this before the podcast. Jonathan Becker, we're just gonna call you J Beck because that's what everybody who knows you calls you.
Unless you're from Nebraska, in which case you just call me John.
Okay, all right. I'm not from Nebraska, so I'm gonna call you J Beck. And
Nebraska. I don't even know what Nebraska is.
you know,
Yeah, me either.
I didn't know for the longest time, but then I looked on a map because my good friend J Beck moved there. So.
But I was only there for a year. It's way more north than you think it is.
And other Jonathan, we're going to call you Jonathan Prime, I think we said, because you are actually the oldest person who's on this podcast, so you came before everybody else, so makes sense, Jonathan Prime. You guys want to just tell the audience a little bit about yourselves, who you are, what you do, what you like to do?
Sure, I'll let J-Bet go first.
Oh. Well, what do I do? Who am I? What do I do?
Yeah.
Currently, I do landscaping for a living, and all of that fun stuff. What I want to do, I guess, is be a musician, be a rock and roll star.
Awesome. Do you play any instruments, J Beck?
I play a couple. I play guitar. It's my main instrument. I like to try to pick a little banjo, a little lap steel. I mean, I'm not really a pianist, but we'll say I am, because it sounds better.
Awesome. And Jonathan Prime, how about you?
Well, I've been in ministry for a couple of years now. Currently, I'm working at Geico doing the insurance stuff, so if you give me a call, I can save you
15 seconds?
Everyone knows
You
that.
can save us 15% or more, right?
Yeah, I can try. I'm actually not in that department, but I like anything nerdy since I've been working with youth and stuff. So, video games, comic books, movies. It's awesome.
Awesome. You're in good company then. And I am Evan David, and I am a professional video editor, video production guy. I do a bunch of special effects work and things like that for a college that is in my local area, and for Life Action Ministries. And actually, both J-Beck and I were in Life Action Ministries together. That's how we know each other. We were on their traveling ministry for a number of years together. Was it 3 for you, buddy?
Three for me.
Yep, 4 for me. So, and I know Jonathan Prime because we are related. We are cousins. So our
The other
dads.
Jonathan and I have never actually met before today.
Yeah, this is their first time interacting. So, which brings us to the next.
Uncharted territory? I don't know.
Yeah. Which brings us to the next thing on our docket here is why are we even doing this? We got 2 guys who've never met. And then there's me, who knows both of you guys, and why are we even doing this podcast? And one of the reasons is I'm friends with a guy named Ben Avery, who is a professional comic book writer. That's what he does for a living. And he used to go to my church, and he turned me on to a couple of his podcasts. He does like 3 or 4 of them. And
That's dedication right there.
yeah, he's he said if he did not have a wife and kids and a job, he'd probably just be doing like 17 podcasts all the time. So he's loving it, and I love listening to two of them whenever I can. So I listen to one on the way to work, and that's the main inspiration for why I wanted to do this, because one of his podcasts, which is called Strangers and Aliens, it's a lot like this podcast that we're doing, because it's the inspiration for why we're doing it. It's about faith and sci-fi and fantasy and imagination and all that, and they just go through and they do all these different fun topics and they just talk about it. And he says the reason he's doing the podcast is like he and his buddies will have these conversations anyway, and so he's just like, you know what, let's just do it on the podcast since we're going to do it anyway, and hopefully other people can enjoy it and be part of the conversation too. So that's I mean, I wanted to become fun conversations they get to have on the podcast. I'm like, oh, I want to say something here. I want to contribute, and so this is it. Hopefully they'll listen to it and give some feedback too, and we can all be part of the conversation together, and I won't be so lonely.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thought.
You guys started breaking up somewhere, and then I lost you a little ways through that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was just the end.
I got nobody around here who's nerdy and geeky like me to talk about this stuff. I'm trying to convert my wife. It's a slow process, but she's not quite to the level where I can really nerd out yet.
The day that she nerds out.
Hey, she's nerdy about one thing, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtles.
Yep. She's a big fan of those. So, let's talk a little bit about the purpose of this podcast. What our podcast is going to do, and like I said, I'm mirroring it a lot off of what Ben has done, because it's just my inspiration. And by the way, you can check out Ben and all of his podcasts at benavery.com. And he's got links to all of those, and he also to his comic books, which you should totally check out. In fact, you probably have by accident if you've ever gone to a Christian bookstore. You probably, and you peruse the comic books, you probably perused some of his work as well.
Avery,
Avery.
Okay.
Yeah. He's done a comic book called Job and another one called The Christ, and some of his older ones are The Time Flies and some other stuff in there. He actually wrote one comic for Marvel, I do believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Christian comics, I always want, go to the Lifeway store as a kid. I see the comics with, like, the angels, and they're, like, fighting. They got swords and stuff.
Yeah.
My parents would never buy me one.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Never do it. I was like, nah, it's a waste of money.
I go into Christian bookstores now, and I peruse the comic section. I'm just like, all these kids are spoiled. You had to look for, like, when I was a kid, you had to look for Christian comics like Golden Treasure, and you could never find them. Them and Dragon Ball Z action figures.
That's so true.
Could not find them.
Somehow I always had friends who had, like, the best ones.
The toys of the comics.
Like 3.
The comic book?
What? The Dragon Ball Z toys.
Oh, gotcha. I got a whole bin of them underneath my bed right now.
Of course you do.
All right, so the reason why we're doing this podcast is we are all three of us are professing Christians, and right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, good. No. What type of ministry are you in, Jonathan Prime?
Well, I used to be in a youth ministry. I was in Florida for about 3 years, doing teen and youth ministry there, and did like 5th and 6th grade ministry out here in the great state of Texas. That's the Texas map behind me.
Oh, awesome.
Mm.
So, yeah.
If you are listening, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was going to say, if you guys are listening to this podcast, we're actually filming it over Google Hangouts with video. So when we're talking about the maps behind them, we can actually see the map. And you can too if you check out our YouTube page, but if not, just keep listening and pretend
But
like
maybe,
you can see the text
maybe
map.
if they're listening to this, they don't realize that, or they didn't realize that we weren't all together.
Yeah, we are not actually all together. Jonathan Prime's in Texas, J-Beck is in Mississippi, and I'm in northern Indiana. So it's fun. We're having a good time. But yeah, we're all professing Christians, and we want to honor God in everything we do. We also, I don't know if J-Beck would call himself this, but I think me and Jonathan Prime would say we're pretty nerdy. J-Beck's more of a hipster nerd.
I just try to be all things to all people.
Good answer. Good answer. So yes, we all love talking about nerdy stuff, and that's what we're gonna do on this podcast. But we're also gonna relate it back to the Bible and relate the Bible to the stuff that we love to watch. And hopefully, as you listen and you tune in, not only will we hopefully will give you some spiritual nuggets, but also we can recommend some awesome movies, TV, comics, what have you, because we're gonna.
Speaking of which, I am missing the new episode of The Flash for this.
Ooh.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I don't even think about that because I always watch it the next day.
Well,
on
sometimes it
Hulu or
depends for
whatever.
me. It depends on what my schedule's got going on.
Sorry. Okay, we may have to pick a different night to do this then, so you don't have to keep missing.
But it can't be Wednesday night either.
We'll work it out. All right. So, guys, our topic today, now that we're finally getting to our topic today is movie trailers. We're going to talk about 4 of the trailers that just came out for the movies that will be coming out later this year. But before we do that, what movie are you most looking forward to seeing in 2015, 2016, this next year? So until next May, what are you most looking forward to seeing in the theaters?
Well, I'm most forward to seeing Age of Ultron here in just a few days.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, well let's not count that one because it is only in a few days. And actually, our next episode, people, is going to be we are going to go see that movie and then review it for you on the podcast. So
I'll have to see it twice. Once for enjoyment and once to critique it.
Yeah. That's the excuse. That's what I'll say to my wife. Yeah, I got to see it twice too.
You know, I guess the last movie I saw in theaters. Well, no, it was either The Hunger Games or Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
Well, that's been a while,
I
buddy.
can't remember. Man, I don't go to the movies very often these days.
What are you most looking forward to, though?
What am I most looking forward to?
I've got mine.
You go.
Okay, so actually, it might be a tie, but it would be a tie between Star Wars in December and Batman versus Superman.
Because Evan, you're a huge DC fan.
Oh yeah, big DC fan. For me, DC Comics is the real comic universe, not Marvel. That's the knockoff.
So that's where we're gonna butt heads a little bit.
Oh, good. I'm glad. This is gonna be good. But yeah, huge DC fan. If you're listening to this and not watching it, I am actually wearing my Superman T-shirt and a Superman hat right now. So I'm gonna have to say I'm looking more forward to Batman versus Superman than I am Star Wars.
I'm going to probably have to agree with the Batman versus Superman, I guess. I don't know. I'm not super up on what movies are out. My movie tastes have changed a lot as I've gotten older. And I don't know. I want a good... I don't know what I want. I don't know. It's not the action movies of my younger days.
All right, Jonathan Prime.
Well, there is one that I'm looking forward to. I don't know if it's out in the U.S. yet. I think it premiered already in Japan, but definitely the Dragon Ball Z, the revival of Frieza.
Oh yeah.
But,
I haven't even heard of this.
seen that one out in the U.S. yet.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z's been coming back in Japan, and they made a movie last year that released theatrically over there and over here.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z: Battle of the Gods.
That was all right.
It was okay.
It was okay.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't even heard of it.
Well, in there, apparently Goku gets a new Super Saiyan transformation that has never been seen before. I don't know how I feel about that, but that could probably be a whole other podcast episode. But in this,
didn't he? I thought he ferried off with the dragon.
This is like happens in the middle, like in between all that stuff. And then the new one that's coming out is another one that's happening in the middle, and they're bringing back Frieza is resurrecting, and he's getting a new transformation as well. Because
He got killed twice already.
yeah, actually 3 times. If you watch 4 times, if you watch Dragon Ball GT and some of the other movies. So yeah, they're going to bring him back again, and he's probably going to die again for a 5th time. So.
And they're
All
saying
right.
transformation for Goku too, which
Again, they're doing another one?
yeah, he's supposed to go to a whole new level, which spoiler alert could be blue.
Okay. I don't know.
I got it.
I did meet somebody the other day who had a dog that they named Goku.
Really?
I did.
All right. Well, let's get. We'll have to do a Dragon Ball Z episode. Let's get to the trailer. So I have listed for you guys 4 trailers that I just want to talk about, get your thoughts on these, and if you're not totally up on the trailer, then just what your thoughts on the new movie that's coming out. So the first one I want to talk about is something I'm actually really excited about, and I'm going to go see it probably opening day, which is Jurassic World. So, what do you guys have? You guys seen this new trailer? What do you guys think of it so far?
Chris Pratt's the best.
Chris Pratt's the best.
He's like the funniest man in America right now.
I have only seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy.
You need to see him in Parks and Rec and
Yes.
look at all of that because it's a totally different Chris Pratt.
He's hilarious.
That's what I hear. I also hear that he's a lot fatter
Yeah,
in Parks and Rec. So
that is true.
So you think he will do well in this Jurassic Park movie?
If he doesn't get eaten, absolutely.
That's a valid point. Valid point.
So I'm not as excited about seeing Chris Pratt, even though I think he'll do a good job because he did a great job in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think he's going to do fine in this. I'm just excited to see how they not reboot it, but continue the story of the park.
Did they learn nothing from the first 3 films?
That's what I'm excited to see. How are they going to replay it and be like, we still think this is a good idea?
Yeah, because it looks like what they're starting it at a point where the park's been up and running for a number of years. They went back and they redid it, and now it's. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm almost hoping for like an alternate timeline thing where like Jurassic Park 1 never happened, or they all went and everything was fine, and now it's like, okay, well, maybe this could work.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't want it to be an alternate timeline because, I mean, you just have that underpinning of we're cheating disaster here.
Exactly.
But we're doing it with style with our new glass rolly balls that go through the park.
Who thought that was a great idea? Let's put all of our guests in a hamster ball. And, I mean, would you put your hamster in a hamster ball and then let your dog or your bear play with it? That's
your Komodo dragon,
your dog,
if you will.
Your dog or your bear.
That's what they're doing.
Pretty much.
I saw an article a couple years back, I guess, that they said they were actually able to find dinosaur DNA from mosquitoes. Apparently those people didn't watch the movies.
Yeah. Well, I just saw an article the other day where these scientists were like, "Oh yeah, we're days away from being able to break through to another dimension."
Well, they never read any comics.
I'm just like, good grief! Don't you know what happens when you break through to another dimension? Zombies, monsters, kaiju. It's just not good.
Fascinating.
So, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I will skip my job to go see this movie, and 1 being I'm never going to see this even on DVD, what is your excitement rating for Jurassic World?
I'm gonna put it at a solid 4 because I mean I'm interested, see what they're gonna do. I want to see what the new dinosaur is gonna look like.
Uh,
How awesome Chris Pratt's gonna be with the Velociraptor gang that he's got training velociraptors on the motorcycle. Like that's
that is interesting.
But I mean, it's if I don't see it the first 2, 3, 4 weeks that it's out,
Really?
it'll be okay.
I'm probably at an 8.5. I love Jurassic Park. It's one of my favorite movies. When I was like 6, it was my favorite movie. Why they let a 6-year-old watch this movie, I don't know. But dinosaurs, man. One of my favorite memories is my dad woke me up in the middle of the night. I was already sound asleep.
I knew this story was coming out.
And by middle of the night, I mean like 8 p.m. And he comes in and he gets me and he's like, Evan, you want to see a T-Rex? I'm like, oh, yeah! So he brings me into the living room. T-Rex comes out on the TV screen. You know, it was on TV, so comes out, does the big roar. And I'm like, oh! And then he's like, go, back to your room. Go, run, hurry, go!
Oh, man.
All right, J-Beck.
I mean, I was going to say like a 6, but I feel like that's high in comparison with what the other Jonathan said about it. I mean, like, Chris Pratt's got me excited about the movie, but, I mean, it may be one of those things I wait and rent at Redbox when it comes out.
Really?
I mean, I may not even make it to the theaters. I don't know.
This is Jurassic Park!
I told you, man, I just don't go to the theaters much these days.
I guess not. I'm going to have to go down there and...
I mean, Jurassic Park, that is one that you have to see in the theaters.
I mean, I'm sure it would be even better with the theaters. You're a dinosaur roar in Dolby Digital 7.1 surround.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to. I mean, the first one messed me up so much as a kid. Like, I mean, Evan, I know you're excited about it, but it freaked me out. Like, I checked the bathtub every single day, every time I went to the bathroom.
Well,
Velociraptors there until I was like 12.
And I'm saying I loved it, but I did the same thing. I'm like, there's a whole night I couldn't go to sleep because there's surely a Velociraptor in my closet.
It was too plausible.
Yep.
I mean, it's true.
My dad got mad at me for being scared of a dinosaur in my closet. He's like, really?
That sounds right.
All right. I'm surprised by you guys' lack of enthusiasm for Jurassic Park.
I mean, no, like my enthusiasm is really not for Jurassic Park. Because it's like, what else can they do with this, as we discussed? But Chris Pratt is just, I mean, he is on the pendulum swing up to stardom right now.
They are considering him for Indiana Jones.
I heard that.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I would go see it once again. I mean, Chris Pratt has sold me on himself.
All right. Let's get to the next one. Next movie is Ant-Man.
Oh.
So did you guys see these trailers for this one?
Oh, yeah.
I missed out on this one. Because Ant-Man enthuses me about as much as an ant.
Many people share your opinion. I was not very excited. I mean, I was kind of excited because I like Ant-Man's character from the comic books. He's a Marvel comic character. If you guys don't know, he's an Avenger. And not only is he Ant-Man, but he also goes by Giant Man and Yellow Jacket. But this is his first movie. And so, yeah, I watched the first trailer, and it was not impressing me. It was kind of boring, and I just wasn't very, especially in light of like the Age of Ultron trailer, I was just not very excited. But the second trailer has got me really interested. I mean, it looks funny. They've got what's the guy's name who's playing Ant-Man? He's another comedian. Paul Rand, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but I mean, it looks funny. It looks okay. I'm just sad that it's not the original Ant-Man character from the comics, which is Hank Pym. This is another guy.
This is Ant-Man's successor, basically, if we're following like comic book canon. But
yeah,
I'm honestly not excited about Ant-Man either. Even though I'm a Marvel guy, he's not one of my favorites at all.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna be excited for Hank Pym because he's one of the more like troubled, emotionally Avengers. Like Tony Stark's got alcoholism in the comic books. You know, Bruce Banner's got anger problems.
No kidding.
Of course, but but Hank Pym has like more disturbing anger problems. Like I think he went through a story arc where he was abusive to his wife and everything, and that, I mean, not that like, oh yeah, let's put that on the screen, yeah, you know, but it makes for a good drama and a different type of character, because a lot of the other Avengers had problems with him.
Well, I mean, you've got Michael Douglas playing Hank Pym, so
yeah,
you never know.
yeah. I mean,
But
I'm happy he's in the movie. I'm just sad he's not the main guy.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, okay. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen him in anything else other than the Ant-Man trailer.
Maybe I haven't either, actually. I always get him and somebody else mixed up, and I can't remember who it is.
I actually went to lunch with Ben the other day, and one of that they're doing the same thing they do in almost every superhero movie, and that is the villain is basically the anti version of the superhero.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So it's another guy who can shrink.
Which he's going by the name Yellow Jacket.
Right. And so I don't know the whole Ant-Man mythology, so I don't know if Yellow Jacket started out as a bad guy or what.
Well, I'm just really interested in to see where they're going with bringing Hank Pym and Ant-Man into it, and how they're going to use that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because in the comics it's totally flip-flop. I mean, we're in Age of Ultron now, and that was originally Hank Pym's creation.
Right.
But now it's Tony Stark, so I'm wondering, like, what do they even bring Hank Pym in for? I mean, I know they're building the universe, but I'm wondering what else are we going to get from this movie that's going to expand the universe?
Right.
And maybe bring us to something like Civil War?
Yeah. I mean, they've already done three spin-off shows of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, and Daredevil, and Agent Carter, since Hank Pym is old by the time we see him in this Ant-Man movie, and Agent Carter, if they do a season 2 or 3, we could probably easily see a young Hank Pym in there even.
And they're gearing up another 4 spin-offs.
Oh yeah, for the Netflix.
For Netflix.
To tie in with Daredevil. Daredevil got renewed for season 2, and then we've got AKA Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then the Defenders, where they all team up.
I think Marvel has created something that is going to be so unsustainable for them soon.
With just keeping it going.
It's gonna collapse here soon. Actors are gonna start leaving. Once an actor leaves or actress leaves, it's done.
Well, they've got it lined up though, J-Beck. They've got it lined up already.
All the actors and actresses want to leave. They've said so.
The main guys, but they've already got their successors lined up.
Oh, this is out of control. This is gonna collapse.
This is another podcast episode. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is my personal favorite that I'm looking forward to the most, which is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Woo! Now, have you guys have seen the trailer for this one? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I just want to know what the deal is with the weird metal Batman suit.
Well, they're taking heavy influence in this movie from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. Have you ever read that?
No.
That's one of the most famous comic books of all time. It kind of reinvented Batman during the 1980s and just made him this really dark and gritty character. And, so, like he is now. And so what they did was it's set in the far future where Batman had retired, but he came out of retirement, but he's really old, really grizzled, and all that stuff, and he comes out and fights Superman in that story.
I just think it's lame.
What, the metal suit?
The metal suit. Also, I still don't like the voice. I still think the voice is arguably worse than the Christopher Nolan.
No. No way.
Oh yes.
I love.
Modified voice, yeah, I have to agree with that one.
You don't like the modified voice? It's better than saying it really deep the whole time and totally fake.
No, I would rather have that.
It's believable, at least. I mean,
yeah.
No, the voice modification, like Arrow does it, the Flash does it. Why can't Batman do it?
Because it doesn't sound ridiculous like it does when Batman does it.
I think it sounds way more ridiculous when Christian Bale is gargling marbles.
Oh man.
All right, so the Batman, you don't like the Batman's voice or the suit. Why don't you like the suit, J-Bag?
It's not Batman to me. Batman's not Iron Man.
And see, with this, I would agree. I'm not a big fan of the suit. I think, in the comic books, Batman never puts on the suit when he fights Superman, except in that one comic. He's always 5 steps ahead of Superman or whatever, or Superman's kicking the tar out of him.
Or he just pulls out the kryptonite.
Yeah, or that. So
it's generally how it ends up.
yeah.
I'm excited about the movie all in all, though. I thought they did fantastic with the last Superman. I'm not sure how I feel about Ben Affleck, though, either, as Batman.
You're shaking your head, Jonathan Prime.
I mean, Ben Affleck's got a long way to bring us back to make us believe that he can actually convincingly pull off a superhero. And
yeah,
his Daredevil days. I don't know if anyone still remembers that. You've all forgotten. But
I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I do remember.
I was more fine with him as Daredevil, as the idea at least of Daredevil, than I am as him as Batman. I guess, okay, so he's really playing Bruce Wayne. He just doesn't have the Bruce Wayne look to me.
No.
I don't know. I mean, who really does have the Bruce Wayne look? Because the Bruce Wayne look I'm thinking of...
Not Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan made the movies.
No, the Bruce Wayne look I'm thinking of is the...
Adam West.
Cartoon. No, the cartoon from Batman the Animated Series, and he's got an incredibly square head. And no one can look like that. No one can look like that. So I don't know. I think...
And they always have the largest upper bodies.
Yeah.
And little legs.
And tiny little legs. And the action figures were impossible to play with because you couldn't stand them up because their legs are so tiny.
We have just impossible body image issues now because of DC Comics.
Yep, DC and Barbie.
DC and Barbie. Ruining the lives of millions of children.
All right, so let me give you my thoughts on this trailer. Okay, I saw it. I'm really excited that the trailer makes it seem like it is actually going to be a Superman sequel, because that's what it's supposed to be. At least it was supposed to be a Superman sequel, and I had some problems with the last Superman movie, but it's a Superman movie. I'm gonna love it and stand by it no matter what, because he's my absolute favorite superhero of all time. And I was excited to see the trailer. Some of the stuff in there has me worried. Like, I don't like it when they go. I mean, it's okay from time to time, but I don't like it when they focus on like people worshiping Superman, like he's some sort of messiah or god or something. I really liked in the comics I read growing up where he was very quick all the time to say, no, stop. If you're trying to worship me, you're wrong. I'm just a man who can fly and shoot lasers from his eyes and lift mountains. And what?
Just a mild-mannered reporter.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it when Clark Kent is the main identity and Superman is the costume, not the other way around.
My biggest issue with the movie was how they handled the whole Daily Planet deal.
In the first one, you mean Man of Steel?
Yeah. That was my biggest issue, I think, with it. And that Lois Lane knows who he is already. Or that she found out the way she did.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Other than that, I was fine with the movie. I thought it was good.
Yeah, if you look at the new trailer, you just see a lot of the narration, and you see that false god written on Superman's chest and everything.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like, I guess they're trying to make that kind of the motivation why Batman feels the need to step in and say, you're going to lead us down the wrong path. I'm I'm anxious to see some footage of Lex Luthor. We heard his voice in the trailer, uh, and we've got one promotional image released of him, and I think it looks right out of the newer comic books. It looks just like Lex Luthor. So I'm excited to see him act on screen. And all in all, I'm happy with the Batman. The costume looks amazing. I hope they make this movie a little bit more colorful for Superman than the last one, because it was kind of gray and drabby as well.
I
Yeah,
like that though.
I mean, the last Superman movie, I really enjoyed the first half. The whole setting up for him, I thought that was well done. I was intrigued with that one. I actually didn't enjoy the second half with all the fighting.
You said you didn't enjoy the second half with all the fighting?
Yeah, I didn't. I felt like they did such a great job of building up, and the pace was good, and the intrigue was there. And it was like, it's almost like watching two different movies, because the first one was like really thought out. It was just a
That
completely,
also could have something to do with the fact that it was like 4 hours long.
yeah. And
It was
they
2 hours.
switched gears there, and the first half I thought was done wonderfully well. The second half I was like, well, this just kind of all fell apart.
I had some problems with the first half. I thought the movie could have been fixed by just having 15 minutes of less fighting and maybe 15 minutes more comedy, because there's like no comedy.
I'm fine with the lack of comedy. I was fine with the fighting. The fighting was fantastic.
It was really cool looking.
It's the best Superman fighting we've ever seen on film.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
The very last one, I mean, Superman Returns, he fought a rock.
Yeah, he fought a rock and an airplane
So
That's it.
one time,
in water.
Evan and I, Evan of course loves Superman, so he loves this movie. And I'm like, Evan, this movie's terrible. Superman Returns is awful. And so we watched it together, and he was like, so we watched it. We go through the whole thing. We get to it, and he was like, yep, that was worse than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a lot more boring than I remember. All right, let's move on to our final movie trailer here that we need to discuss, and I hope you guys have seen this new one, because there's now 2 trailers for this movie. It is Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
I did see a lot of the videos of people watching the trailers for the first time. Those were entertaining.
My favorite one is Hitler watching the Star Wars trailer. Have you guys seen that? Okay. For people listening, I can't wholeheartedly recommend this because it has some language in it. So I can't recommend it to you. But I laugh out loud almost all the time.
I just watched the one, actually, with Father Roderick or whatever. I don't know. Some priest.
Oh, I don't know.
His responses were just fantastic.
I started watching the Ben Affleck's reaction, where they just take that scene from Interstellar where he's crying, watching his daughter's video, and he's watching, and then put this.
Now you just ruined Interstellar for me.
Well, that's not a very big spoiler. He cries at a video screen, has something to do with his daughter. Shouldn't spoil anything. All right, so you guys have seen the trailer then?
Yeah. Wait. Yes.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and we should go back and get those other movies too, because I only did that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Star Wars coming out?
That's going to be a solid 8.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. I have some hesitations with it just to see how well their partnership with Disney works out. It's going to be interesting.
I have no qualms about the partnership with Disney whatsoever.
Well,
I'm gonna need another trailer.
What did you say?
I'm gonna need another trailer before I can
Okay.
give a rating on this.
I mean, let's
I
just
don't know,
look.
the first 1, 2, and 3 were just so bad. They were awful.
I will refrain from speaking because that's a whole nother podcast that we need to do.
We need to do where we just bash Star Wars 1 through 3.
4, 5, and 6 were excellent.
No argument. Okay, let's look at the different elements of the trailer here. We got a big, giant wrecked Star Destroyer and X-Wing. That's really sweet. And then you got Luke's narrating. Mark Hamill, you got your burned up mask. You got Luke's robot hand on R2-D2. You got Princess Leia holding the lightsaber. You got a Sith Lord with a crazy, kind of dumb lightsaber. You have a silver metallic stormtrooper. What do you guys think of that?
They like to take the same things and just color them differently. New.
There's so many things. So many things running through my head right now.
When I saw that, I'm just like, this is who let the fan art girl come into this movie and make a character to put in here? Because that is exactly, like, if you saw, like, for the past couple of years, you would go on YouTube and you see these fake trailers for Star Wars Episode 7, and that is exactly it's our trooper, something on a computer, and they put it in their fan trailer, and now it's in the actual movie.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even sure what we're talking about at the moment.
You haven't seen the new trailer, have you?
No, I have. I watched it. I just guess I missed out on all the details.
All right. Well, just trust me. That's exactly what they did. For some reason, he made it into the actual movie, so I'm concerned about that.
Gotta give the fans what they want.
There's just so many things I want to say with this right now.
You know, the one thing I really hope they do bring back is they bring back Jar Jar Binks.
Said no one ever.
He was the most believable character in Star Wars 1 through 3.
Oh, God.
See, I'm excited to see Luke back because he looks like Obi-Wan did in the first, the Star Wars Episode 4, and I think that's going to be a good role for him to play as the old wise sage Jedi guy. I think that's going to be good for him. I'm excited to see R2-D2, C-3PO, Chewbacca. But I am not excited to see Han Solo.
No, look. Here's Harrison Ford is one of those actors that any movie he's in is guaranteed to be good.
It's true.
I agree. I just don't want him to be Han Solo anymore because he's really, really old.
Yes. Then what? So, never mind.
No, say what you're gonna say, J-Beck.
So you want a young Han Solo again? How does that work? We have an old. So you're excited about the old Mark Hamill, but you're not excited about the old Harrison Ford.
I want dead Han Solo is what I want because I said it because Luke actually looks okay. He looks like like the old look looks good on a Jedi. The old look does not look good on a snappy smuggler guy.
But you don't know what his character is going to play out to be like now.
You're right, but I'm just going off of what I saw in the trailer when they brought him out and he said, "Chewie, I'm home." A bunch of people teared up. I'm like, oh, really? He's way older than I thought he was.
You could always, if Chris Pratt winds up playing Indiana Jones, you would just get him as the new Han Solo too.
Exactly. Yeah,
Chris Pratt is the new Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
That played out nicely, I think.
No, man.
All right. Well, we're almost to the hour mark, I think, so we need to start wrapping up, I think. Oh, before we do, give me your. So Jonathan Prime, you said you're a solid 8 for Star Wars. J-Beck, what are you?
I said I gotta have another trailer. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one.
Okay. I'm gonna give it. I gave Batman Superman 8.5. I'm gonna give this one either a 7.5 or an 8. I'm pretty excited.
Look, all right. So there's something nerdy I do have to bring into the Star Wars thing. What about from the video games that were Lucas endorsed? that were supposed to take place afterwards with that what's his name Jedi.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Well, so Disney released an official press statement on this that now they've redone how they consider it canon. So now only the films and TV shows are canon, and then any new books or comics or video games that get released from now on
That's unacceptable.
are canon.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Because that means KOTOR is not canon anymore.
Does that mean the Ewok Christmas special is still canon?
No, I'm pretty sure they're not canon.
But you haven't found that nice little nugget of Star Wars history. You need to find that.
I actually have not seen it, but I keep hearing about it, and I want to go look it up and watch it.
Find it.
I've heard that it's so bad that you have to watch it.
It's so bad. I mean, it's almost impossible to find.
Really?
They've disowned it. You need to
Can
find it.
we have some time where we just all watch this together on Google
Yes.
Hangout?
You know what? Let's next. You know what we should do? We should do a movie commentary on the Star Wars Christmas special and release it on the podcast. Maybe that'll come up. All right. So, wait. No, I gave Jurassic Park an 8.5. I'm gonna give Superman and Batman a 9. I'm gonna give this, 7.5 or a solid 8. What did you guys want to give for Ant-Man?
I'll take a 1.
I'm gonna go to 4.
You're really generous with your scores there.
I am kind of excited to see it. It's a Marvel movie. It's a new type of superpower, new type of superhero. I'm excited.
Not a new superpower. It's shrinking. Rick Moranis did that in the 80s.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I just have a problem with this. He's a superhero. What is he riding a wasp?
What?
I looked it up because I was curious. Those bees only fly like 15 miles an hour. And aside from the nice vertical thing, like, ride a bike. It's faster.
I just think it's cool because even though he's small, he retains the strength of a regular-sized man, so he can be on your shoulder, punch you in the face, and you're sprawled out on the floor. I think that's kind of cool.
If he had the same strength, he would just punch a hole in you. Like, it's not the same.
I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna give it a 4, and then I'm gonna give. I rated everything, right? Yeah, I did. You guys don't have to rate everything if you don't want to. I did because I'm a completionist. Not really, but with this I am.
I mean, I would give Superman. I think that's the only one I didn't really rate. The Superman movie.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
like an 8. 8.5.
All right, that's good. What about you, Jonathan Prime, Marvel Man?
You know, I gotta give it a 5. I'm sort of, I am kind of curious to see what kind of tricks he's got to like actually battle Superman and how this turns out to be an hour-long movie instead of like 15 seconds of Superman just blasting Batman and that's it.
That's how it is the first time. Then the second time, Batman's wised up.
Yeah, or the other way around.
In that sense, I'm curious, but
My favorite Batman Superman fight, and I'll just say this, if you can look it up on YouTube, is in Justice League War, the animated movie. They have a great Batman Superman fight there, and Batman's trying to fight Superman. He's just owning Batman. Great.
yeah,
I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. All right. So that's our topic for today, guys. I think we need to start winding things up here. All you listeners out there, thank you for listening all the way through this podcast. If you've gotten to this point, congratulations. We are so grateful. And Hey, next week we're gonna review Marvel's Age of Ultron. So make sure you come back and check that out so you can hear our incredibly sophisticated and well-informed opinions on the movie, and maybe we can encourage you to go see it or enlighten you on some different things if you're not
I
as
encourage you not
nerdy
to
as
go see
us.
it. Terrible.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
But it's a possibility.
I guess so. If it'll be your first trip to the theater in many a moon, so maybe you just won't be in the mood to like it. Uh, Eventually in the future, if we get listeners, we're gonna have a feedback section where you can write in and give your feedback on the different topics that we will have and discuss. So we definitely want a larger community to get involved and love to hear from some listeners if we get any again. And we're going to be doing all sorts of different stuff on the podcast, movie reviews. We're going to be doing some thematic stuff, like we're going to be listing our favorite, superheroes, stuff like that, and why. Hopefully we'll be able to turn you on to some new media or some new characters that you might not have known about or had an interest in before. I think that'll be fun. And yeah, we're just going to have a ball with this. We're going to do some comic reviews, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, guys, any final words for our listeners before we sign off?
I didn't know we were supposed to make a final closing statement, but
Okay.
no, I don't.
I wasn't prepared for my closing argument.
Well, in the future, just have a little something prepared. Maybe maybe just a quote, a famous quote, or maybe nothing. I'm gonna say, all right. I'll do a final closing statement. Thank you, and good night. If it's nighttime, where you are.
What if they're listening during the day?
Well, then we're just goodbye. The end.
And if you're listening at work, shame on you.